All right, so today we're diving into something really interesting.
Yeah.
It's KTB Marine, and they're doing some really cool things with something called structured asset finance in the maritime industry.
Yeah, really fascinating stuff.
It is. So for our listeners who maybe aren't familiar, it's kind of like, imagine you've got this big maritime project, right?
Yeah.
Could be anything, building a new port, expanding your fleet of ships,
Right.
and you need funding.
Right.
But instead of just going to a bank for a typical loan, you're actually using your existing assets as leverage.
It's like, think about it this way. You can use your car's value to get a loan, right?
Exactly.
This is that, but like supersized. Instead of a car, we're talking about massive ships, terminals, you name it. It's a whole different ballgame.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that's where KTB Marine comes in. They've been in this game for over 40 years. And what struck me is they're all about bespoke deals. So none of that one-size-fits-all approach you often see with financing.
Right. It's really more like, we were talking about matchmaking before the show.
Right.
It's kind of like that. You've got these complex maritime projects on one side, and then you've got this whole world of financiers, each with their own, criteria and risk appetites.
Absolutely.
In KTB Marine, they're like the matchmakers. They know the maritime industry inside and out, A&D. They understand the ins and outs of what these different financiers are looking for.
And they've got this crazy network of funding sources, too. I mean, we're talking traditional banks, sure,
Of course.
but also pension funds, even state-owned enterprises.
Yeah, you don't see that every day, right?
No, not at all. Why would say, a state-owned enterprise be interested in, like, a cargo ship project?
Well, it's strategic, right? A lot of these entities, they're looking at the big picture. Strengthening their national economy, securing vital trade routes, investing in maritime ventures, well, that aligns with those goals. It's another layer of how KTB Marine really tailors these partnerships.
It's fascinating. So let's get into the specifics a little bit.
Sure.
We read in their brochure about customized financing structures. What exactly does that mean? Like, for someone listening who might be thinking, okay, I want to expand my fleet, how does that actually work?
Okay, so instead of a traditional loan, KTB Marine might put together a lease buyback agreement, for example. So imagine this, a shipping company, they need new cargo ships, right? With this setup, they get those ships right away, but they make lease payments. It's more manageable, you see?
Yeah, right.
And then at the end of that lease, they have the option to buy those ships outright. It's smart, it preserves their capital up front, but they still get to expand their operations.
They like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
But before any of that happens, KTB Marine really digs deep into valuation and market outlook, as they call it.
Critically important. This is where their industry expertise shines. It's more than just, oh, this ship costs this much. They're forecasting, looking at long-term trends, is demand for container shipping going up or down.
Yeah.
Are there new trade routes opening up? They're assessing global economic conditions, even things like, potential disruptions, piracy, anything that could impact a project's value down the line.
It's like you're playing 4D chess with all these factors.
In a way, yeah. And it's all about giving their clients and those investors a crystal clear, realistic view of what they're getting into.
And probably avoiding a lot of headaches later. Of course, any project of this scale, there's inherent risk.
Always.
But KTB Marine, they offer expert advisory and risk management services. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, that's where their decades of experience really come into play. And not just experience, but they've been on both sides of the table. They know what ship owners are looking for, and they know what the financiers need.
So they can spot those potential issues before they become major problems.
Exactly. They make sure everyone's interests are aligned and that the deal is structured in a way that minimizes risk for everyone involved. Because, let's face it, a successful project benefits everyone.
And it's not just about getting the deal done right. KTB Marine really prides themselves on this end-to-end service delivery.
That's right. They're with you every step of the way, from that initial brainstorm all the way through to the deal closing. And even after, They provide ongoing support and guidance because, let's be honest, a lot can happen once a project is underway. And it's reassuring to know that KTB Marine is there to help navigate any choppy waters.
Yeah, it really builds that trust and that long-term relationship.
Absolutely, because ultimately, these projects aren't just about numbers and contracts. It's about building something lasting, something that benefits everyone. And having a partner like KTB Marine who understands that, who's there every step of the way, that's invaluable.
They have this whole network, too, of financial analysts, legal experts, It's really a comprehensive support system, isn't it?
It really is,
Yeah.
because when you're talking about structured asset finance in the maritime world, you need that depth of expertise. You need someone who speaks the language, understands the complexities. That's the KTB Marine advantage. It's more than just finance. It's about really understanding the maritime industry and building those long-lasting partnerships that make these incredible projects possible.
I think that's a great point to end on for our listeners out there. It makes you think, what assets do you have that you could leverage? And what kind of partners could help bring your vision to life?